And also to give us more perspective on this, we are now being joined by Mr. John Irath, who's joining us live from Washington, D.C. He's a Senior Policy Director for the Center for Arms Control and Non-Proliferation. Now, Mr. Irath, thank you very much indeed, sir, for making time out and speaking to us here on WION. Now, this is the latest report that has come in that the Russians are storming the industrial hub of Avdiivka. With Western military aid having dried up for Ukraine, things are looking extremely grim for Ukrainian resistance. Without Western Ukraine military aid, how long do you think Ukraine can hold out?
I think it's a question of how long they decide they want to hold out. The fighting around Avdiivka is very bloody. It's causing a lot of casualties on both sides, especially the Russians. But the Ukrainians have fewer troops to replace casualties with. So it would be a question of when they decide that it is not worth the cost in lives to hold on to the town any longer, much as they did with Bakhmut about a year ago.
Now, in terms of Western support, do you think because of internal politics within Washington, Joe Biden has been unable to send more aid to Ukraine? Do you think Biden will be able to convince the Republicans within Washington to send more aid to the Ukrainians?
I think that there will be a deal worked out eventually. It is, as you have said, a question of internal politics, not so much a question of U.S. support to Ukraine. But for many of the politicians in Washington, the stakes in the election year that is currently in the United States are far higher than anything that is happening outside the country. It's a short-sighted view, but that is what is prevailing here at the moment.
So while Washington appears to be mired in its own internal politics, Russia appears to be strengthening its position diplomatically. Now, Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping had a meeting where the two leaders have again reiterated the support that they have for each other, in many ways sending out a message to the West that they would not want any interference at all. How do you read this statement that's been given out by the two leaders today?
I read it as fairly standard for meetings of this sort. They indicated general support for each other and their goals and a general opposition to the West, but I did not see it as anything new. What is new is the Russian increase in tempo in and around Avdiivka, and the Russian determination to capture this otherwise insignificant town, but is symbolically important because it's where Ukraine stopped Russia in 2014.
Right. Now, my final question to you, Mr. Irath, is this. At the time when this conflict broke out 2 years ago, the West was all together. The Western unity appeared to be pretty solid. But at this moment, the way things look like, the security interests of Europe seem to be slightly different from the security interests of Washington. And Russia, for its part, appears to be winning this diplomatically. What's your reading on this?
I think that is certainly the impression that Moscow would like to encourage. I don't think that there is a very great difference between European and American perspectives now. There are some questions of internal politics that are going on, but I think there's a wide range of agreement among European and American countries that the aggression from Russia is just unacceptable, and that if we want to live in a rules-based international order, it cannot be one in which border disputes are settled by force and threats of nuclear violence.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. John Irath, for joining us and getting us that perspective there.
You're welcome.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.